difference between the Kugoo M2 Pro versus the Segway Ninebot E25A. Let's roll the intro. Recently, I've been really into the kick scooter because I was trying to solve my delivery problem with Uber Eats, and that's how I end up with 3 different models. And of course, when you are making a purchase, first thing you think about is the big brand name like Segway, Ninebot. And this particular model, Kugoo M2 Pro, catches my attention because of the price point. It is half the price of the E25A, and it's the 1/3 of the price of a Ninebot Max. However, according to the manufacturer claim, the maximum speed and the range is equal as the E25A. That's why I'm very interested in getting the product and want to compare how it is different. For half the price, can it be as good as the E25A? Let's find out. First of all, let's look at their physical characteristic. They are both having the foot brake. So it is essentially still a kick scooter, unlike the Max model where they remove the foot brake and using only the handbrake like bicycle and using the bicycle tire with air pump. The E25A, they are using the electrical magnetic brake, which from my user experience is not so good. It's very weak. When you have an emergency, if you just use this, you are going to have an accident. You have to use it all together with the foot brake with the E25A. Now the Kugoo advantage over the E25A is their handbrake. It's like bicycle. It's actually a disc brake. Here you can see. And this one is very sharp. So use it alone is able to stop the kick scooter from moving forward. Plus you have the addition of the foot brake. So in terms of the brake, the Kugoo is actually better than the E25A. And they both use the same kind of solid tire here, like the traditional kick scooter. This is very good design because it's zero maintenance. Unlike the Max, you have to worry about pumping the air like a bicycle. And with a bicycle, it's big headache. It's big, it's not affordable. And the chain, like this one, got jammed. And that is why people are turning over e-kick scooter instead of e-bicycle. Kick scooter is different from a bicycle, where when you want to go into a grocery, go into a restaurant, you have to find a place to lock it. With kick scooter, you are able to carry into the restaurant or store because of the size. It's just very tiny. And the problem with locking it is that it gets stolen very easily. Because bicycle, although has better suspension, I mean in comparison with kick scooter, like the Max model the suspension is very bad. Going through bump is very uncomfortable. With E25A, you are having the same problem with going through bump. You're always trying to look for smooth surface when you are riding the E25A. But with Kugoo, the engineering team actually solved the problem. Here, there is a suspension inside, and also here, there are suspension as well. So actually, when I going through bump, especially your sidewalk, there are many bumps on the sidewalk. With Kugoo, you actually, or I have to say, I actually feel very smooth. I mean, in comparison with bicycle is still better. Bicycle is way better suspension system, but in comparison with Ninebot scooter, the suspension on this one is actually impressive, actually very good. And consider the price point. It's actually half the price of the E25A. In the actual road test, I rode this to my work, and from work I rode it back. First of all is the E25A. With 5 kilometer range, I was able to hit the 28.9 top speed. Comparison with Max is actually a little bit faster. The top speed was 29.2 and the Kugoo is 28.7. So here you can see Kugoo at 28.7 kilometer per hour and the E25A at 28.9. So 0.7 versus 0.9, it is almost identical. When I finished the road test, I was very happy. I mean, I'm paying just half the price of a Segway Ninebot, and I'm getting the same speed. In terms of the range test, from my home to work is 5 kilometers, and I was able to use the E25A to go there, come back. My area has a lot of hills, uphill, downhill, so that the manufacturer claim of the 25 kilometer, that is impossible. They have that claim because they have short, skinny guy going through flat surface. Your neighborhood is not going to have that flat surface, and you are not a short, skinny guy. Me, I'm about 160, 170 pounds, so I'm getting about 12 to 15 kilometers, so just about half of the manufacturer claim. With the speed and range test, both are actually identical. Let's talk about the hill climbing. Of course, with Ninebot Max is the best because it's good for 20 degrees. But with the Kugoo and with the E25A, they are only rated at 15 degrees. And I actually did tests on it, and they are both at 15 degrees. And in the beginning, I didn't know how to use less motor power and going through a 20 degree. Later on, I figured out you can sort of zigzag your way up when there's no cars around you. So in terms of hill climbing, both are the same capability. My scooter is over there very far away, and I'm going to climb up here without pushing. Basically, you can zigzag. When you zigzag, it reduces the degree of the slope. We are now going to look at the dashboard and the control. First of all, the grip. The Kugoo grip is very good, very tight, and gives you very good friction. Similar to the E25A, they are at same level. Possibly it's even the same material as well. Because on the Max, it's completely different. This one is not very grippy. When you are riding it, it's important to have a grippy control so your hand don't lose from your sweat or rain. Now the Kugoo button, control button, is on the side, and I found this one sometimes when you are riding it's difficult to make change and control, like because you can't see where it is, and it takes a little bit of effort to making the change. Now on the E25A, because the button is right on top, so it's very easy to access. The button is very big and it's very easy to make control on here. And the belt system, this one, because it's using the thumb to make the ring and using your finger to do the brake, so this is a very good design right here. It just makes sense. On the E25, it's a little bit of trouble because when you are riding, you're not supposed to look down to find where the belt is. And you have a brake here. If you want to reach the belt, it's very difficult. I mean, your hand needs to actually lift up in order to brake. So this is kind of the problem of this design in terms of the brake and the belt system. The Kugoo is actually better than the E25A. Now we'll look at the display. The display on the Kugoo is not too good. During the bright sunlight, sometimes it's difficult to see the battery level and see your speed. And on the E25A, this is a very nice display. It's very bright, and you can see it clearly all the time. And let's turn on the light. If I press this button here one time, then I turn on the light. Now the light on the Kugoo is actually not too bright. So riding in the evening with Kugoo is difficult to see the pothole, because when you are riding kick scooter, pothole is very dangerous. So I spend $10, put this add-on so I can have my additional light. So this is my low beam and this is my high beam, and the light system on the E25A is very bright. I mean, this one is bright, is wide, and evening when you are riding with the E25A is very safe. You're able to see very clear. The Kugoo with the add-on, I was able to achieve what the E25A can do. Now I'm putting the Max E25A and the Kugoo all together side by side, so you can kind of see the difference. Max is sort of the biggest, especially when it's folding. It's the heaviest and the biggest. You need a big trunk to fit it. The E25A is kind of very long. And in comparison, Kugoo is the smallest. And if you look at their height, the E25 and the Max is almost at the same height, and Kugoo is just shorter. And it doesn't actually create some discomfort when you are riding it. I kind of like leaning a little bit forward. It feels a little bit more like riding a bicycle. And if you see the rear light, now this is the E25 Advantage, right? This is very bright and very clear. With Kugoo, it's spread it into both sides, so for car behind you, it's difficult for them to see you. And with the Max, it's also not too bright. So the E25A is always having the lighting advantage, the RGB underlight, the front light, the rear light. E25A is the best. This is what I like about Kugoo. When you fold it up, it's really tiny, and you can, if your car has a small trunk like mine, it's a hatchback. I can fold it, put it in, no problem, and able to hide it in a hatchback tiny trunk. Let's look at the folding mechanism. This one you have to remove the kickstand, and this one you just kick and you lock. Very easy. Similar idea, but you have to use your hand. Lift this up, pull this up, pull it down, and put this down, and lock it. And now I put them side by side. As you can see, the E25A is a little bit longer, so if your trunk is too small, it can be difficult to put in. Like mine, I can fit in, but it's a little bit of difficulty. But with the Kugoo, because it is shorter, I can fit it into my trunk or back seat fairly easy. In comparison with a Segway Ninebot E25 or Max, it's much easier to fit in a trunk. And I have a small car, so this is a very good advantage of Kugoo. And this is the top view, if you see from the top. Now the Kugoo doesn't have a lock here, so it cannot go to any direction once you're in the trunk, which is easy to fit in the trunk. Now this one, there is a lock here, so if you are going through elevator, going for storage, bring this up and down stair, this is actually better because it doesn't move around. Because there's a lock here, so once it's folded, you are able to wheel around like this when you are not able to ride it. Maybe in the elevator or whatever but still have to be careful. Whatever the situation that you cannot ride it, and it makes it light. But on the Kugoo, you cannot do it because there's no lock on the wheel. So with this, it's gonna be trouble. See, it becomes not doable. A little bit dangerous too. And now I'm gonna show everyone how to unlock. So here you press down and you just push. That's it. So the folding and the open mechanism is better on the Ninebot. This one, let me show you. Here. Bring this up, pull this down. And then do this again. The folding and the open mechanism, E25A is better. I want to say a lot about the kickstand. The kickstand on the Kugoo is very good. I mean, sometimes you might hit your own feet when you are walking around, let's say in a shopping mall or in a grocery store. The Kugoo one is very tiny. It's impossible to hit yourself. And also, the coming out and going back mechanism is very smooth, and the kick scooter always no problem. Now on the E25A, it's sort of in a place that's easy to hit your own foot. It's just not as ideal, right? Like Kugoo, they put it at the very front. They are here in the middle. Now this kickstand, in comparison, is not so good. Like you have to make sure it stands very well properly. For me, I had twice that I didn't put it because of the angle of the slope. It fall on this and hit the ground. It happened to me twice already. Now on the Max model, it's never happened because the kickstand is closer to the front, which is the right design. But the Max model, like this, is easy to hit your own foot. So if you look at the kickstand aspect once again, Kugoo is winning with half the price. One more thing I want to talk about is the riding noise. With E25A, when you are riding it, it's almost silent. Like the pedestrian cannot hear you if you're coming from the back. Now with the Kugoo, like a traditional kick scooter, it rattles. So in terms of the riding quietness, E25A is actually better than Kugoo. Another thing about safety is this reflective thing. On E25A, other people can see you clearly, especially in the evening when it's difficult to see. But on the Kugoo, it doesn't have those designs. I mean, there's nothing reflective, and the real light is difficult to see. So that's another safety point for the E25A. They both have very good cruise control. You press down to a specific speed for 5 seconds, and the throttle will lock and you will maintain the speed. And because they both have the foot brake, so you are able to keep your cruise control without breaking it by slowing down using the foot brake. Because if you use the handbrake here or here, it's going to stop the cruise control, and you try to get back again, you have to reset. So this is a very good design of both scooters. So in terms of cruise control comfortness, both are very good. With the Max, you are not able to do that. Like during your cruise control, you cannot slow down and get it back right away. Now let's look at the foot space. On the Kugoo, it's smaller, so your feet is more limited to a tiny space. And on the E25A, it's much longer, so you can sort of adjust to different position if your feet gets tired. So if you are riding a long distance, this gives you a little bit better advantage. And also when you are going through bump, like your knee need to bend, so with more space, E25A is actually more comfortable. The Kugoo has the advantage of price point, comfortness, and it gives you the same speed and range. However, E25A is still holding strong with its quality of quietness, the safety points of people can see you, and better lighting system, display system. So the decision is yours to make. Whatever the decision you make, it is always the right decision. If you buy from the big box company, you will also get the 30-day refund policy. You get to try it out. If you don't like it, you can always refund your money. So make sure you have your safety gear. Like me, I'm riding in my backyard. There's no car here. That's crazy though. So please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.
Memories die out too hard.
Okay, this is kind of scary. I don't think come back could be a problem with this kind of hill and with this kind of road. That's what makes it a challenge. Just now I saw a big rock. If I didn't careful and hit the thing, I should get ready to bend my knee, you know, practice. Slow down, slow down. Not a good idea to crash in this remote area. Shut up, you crazy dog! Okay, there's another big rock. Big rock is a killer for the kick scooter because potentially I can flip. Holy, maybe it's not so much of a good idea to go into this bicycle trail. My muscles are all tense, especially my hand. So bumpy right here. Ah! Really bumpy! Ah! Jumping off the bike a little bit to avoid some danger.
He's up here.
It was a terrible idea to get into here. The bicycle trail here is horrible. There's tree bar, rock bombs, there are even creeks. I end up have to carry my kick scooter for a lot of time, and it's crazy. Also super dangerous too.